right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
A 9-year-old boy fighting for his life, the victim of a hit-and-run driver.
This is a cry for you guys to just slow down.
Tonight, new details on his recovery as a North St. Louis neighborhood lays a hand on the horn about reckless drivers.
The late afternoon rain is long gone. The next round of showers and thunderstorms later this week will pack much more of a punch.
First breaking news, a former high school teacher who left a student for dead is now a free man. It's a case that made national headlines, and just hours ago we learned that Sam Shelton is now out on parole. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. Shelton was released from the Illinois Correctional Center yesterday after serving nearly 17 years of a 20-year sentence. The former Freeburg High School teacher pleaded guilty in 2007 to the attempted murder of Ashley Reeves. Shelton admitted he used a belt to strangle the 17-year-old and left her in a Belleville park in April of 2006. She was found alive more than 24 hours later. According to the Department of Corrections, Shelton will now serve 3 years on parole.
Tonight we're hearing from the mother of a 9-year-old boy critically injured in a horrific crash where he was left pinned between the wreckage of two cars for nearly 30 minutes. The mother of Cory Walker tells 5 on Your Side her son is still in the ICU and is now on life support 2 days after the crash. The third grader has a twin brother. The crash happened Sunday morning at Hickey Park in North St. Louis. Police say Cory was getting a soccer ball out of the trunk of his family's car parked along North Broadway when he was hit by a speeding driver. Kevin Johnson, that driver, ran off after the crash and later turned himself into police. He's now charged with leaving the scene of a crash, assault, and child endangerment. People in the Baden neighborhood say reckless and speeding drivers along this stretch of North Broadway is nothing new. Our Robert Townsend has more tonight from concerned neighbors. Robert.
Michael, people who live on North Broadway and police who patrol that busy street in the city limits say speeding and car crashes have become all too common. Worried neighbors have had enough. Rosemary Ray says shortly before midnight Friday, her 42-year-old son hopped in her car, turned right onto North Broadway, and in a flash, just feet away from their home.
He said he didn't see anybody, but all of a sudden he saw a speeding car coming from the south.
She says the driver slammed into the back of her car.
Totally demolished the back end, and the car kept going.
She says it's a miracle her son survived the crash. Her crushed Cadillac is now totaled.
Very upsetting. Look at that. This could have been somebody else's life.
The hit and run happened just down the street from where a 9-year-old boy was pinned between two cars on Sunday.
I do want him to know that we are praying for him.
Rosemary says during the 5 years she's lived in Baden, she's watched many drivers whiz by the posted 35-mile-an-hour speed limit sign.
Very upsetting because this happens every day and almost all day long. And that's why I've had these barriers put up.
St. Louis police confirm speeding and crashes are a problem in this area. Crashes where people have been hurt and property damaged. Last September, a woman was killed in this multi-car crash on North Broadway. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol's database, so far this year on the entire stretch of North Broadway in the city, there have been at least 50 traffic incidents.
We're trying to see if we can get the police to just be stationary over here some mornings and evenings.
Just slow down. It has to stop.
Earlier tonight, North Broadway neighbors had a chance to share their concerns with Mayor Tashara Jones and Police Chief Robert Tracy during a 2-hour-long community town hall.
Thanks, Robert. Let's talk about our weather. The showers and thunderstorms are moving out of the St. Louis region. In fact, they were able to get in tonight's Cardinals game at Busch Stadium.
Too bad.
Oh, no. Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking some dry days ahead of our next storm threat.
Yeah, we could have used some of that rain. Just keep on going, keep the Cardinals out of it tonight. Yeah, that's a preview for what we'll hear from sports in a little bit. All right, there's groaning back in the sports office. We know. That rain came through St. Louis, really lined up along Interstate 70, pressed through this evening. Some of us saw upwards of a half an inch, a little more in a few places, but it's all off to our east and out of the area now. Tomorrow's going to be a splendid day. We're going down into the 40s tonight. It'll be a cool night, but tomorrow morning, we're going to start a quick warm-up. We'll be back close to 70 tomorrow afternoon. We are getting into an unsettled pattern. Tomorrow, pick day of the week. By Friday into the weekend, a much stormier pattern develops. The threat of severe weather is there. We're going to break down the timing on what we see at this point and tell you what you need to know as you're making your weekend plans. That's in about 10 minutes, Mike.
All right, Scott. Tonight, a new downtown restaurant is cleaning up after a smash and grab robbery early this morning. Hot Pizza Cold Beer opened in early February on Washington Avenue. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski is live there tonight. She spoke with the owner just hours after all this happened. Laura.
Mike, the owner of Hot Pizza Cold Beer, says he's not even going to let this faze him. They were able to open the restaurant today and say they had a lot of community support.
So last night the alarm went off about 3 a.m. Someone threw a rock through the window and ran off with our empty registers.
You heard that right. In this security camera footage, you can see a thief break through the front window of Hot Pizza Cold Beer and go through a lot of trouble to steal some practically empty registers and take off.
Probably more of a pain to carry around and smash open than the amount of money that was in them, so just some change.
One of the owners, Mike Johnson, also owns 2 other restaurants on Washington Avenue and more across the metro area. He says smash and grabs really happen everywhere.
Sugar Fire across the street's been open 11 years. Never happened once. High Point's never happened. We've been there 5 years. We're here at McCausland and High Point. Our first 2 nights we were open here 7, 8 years ago, same thing happened. That's why we put that security van out front.
This is Alderwoman Kara Spencer's ward, and she said the break-in is really disheartening. Quote, downtown is central to the success or failure of our region. It has to be a place where businesses and the people who live there thrive, and safety is paramount. Johnson made light of the situation on Instagram, calling it their new takeout window, which garnered a lot of community support.
Nice. Thanks. Hot pizza. Window's already boarded up. It's getting replaced tomorrow. It's going to cost us a little money, but like I said, the whole neighborhood's been down there eating pizza today, so it's been great.
General Manager Gabe Alvarado says it's unfortunate this happened, but it's not going to stop them from doing what they love in the city they love.
If you want to be part of the revitalization effort of downtown St. Louis, you know, there's a certain amount of risk involved in that, but that's okay because it's worth it. You know, we've got to do something to make downtown a place where people want to be, and as we do that, I think that can only improve the atmosphere down here.
Unfortunately, they're not the only ones. The Dollar General Express, which is just 2 doors down, had this happen to them last week. And Johnson says this is going to take about $1,000 to repair. Reporting live downtown, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
New tonight, a Delwood man makes a startling discovery inside his North St. Louis County home.
As soon as I found it, I got chills.
Nico Crumweedy says he and his girlfriend heard a loud noise last Monday night outside their home on Alliance Drive. He found a bullet hole in the ceiling of his home office. Just yesterday, he found the stray bullet lying on the floor right next to his desk.
You think about how a bullet comes up and comes down. You'd think it would lose momentum as it comes. No, it made it all the way through the shingle, through the board. That definitely could have killed somebody. That could have killed me. I'm very grateful.
Crumweedy says the roofing company he hired to make repairs called it St. Louis Hail. He also reported the incident to police.
Chilling video shared in court today in the trial of a man accused of killing St. Louis police officer Tamaris Bohannon. Fellow officers took the stand, recounting the moments after the shooting and how they pulled Bohannon into a police cruiser and rushed him to the hospital. Thomas Kinworthy is charged in the deadly shooting in the Tower Grove South neighborhood in August of 2020. The defense has entered a not guilty plea by reason of mental defect. This trial is scheduled to last through next week.
Charges have been upgraded against the man accused of grabbing a 15-year-old McDonald's worker by the hair and stomping on her head. 25-year-old Johnny Ricks is now charged with first-degree assault. He was originally charged with second-degree. The attack, caught on camera, happened earlier this month outside the McDonald's on Parker Road in North County. Investigators say Ricks had just been kicked out of the restaurant.
We're just days away from the Greater St. Louis Marathon, and for a local pastor, it's personal.
Saturday will mark a milestone that she vowed years ago to make, 50 marathons by the age of 50. New tonight, Brent Solomon introduces us to the minister on a mission.
Waymaker, miracle worker.
In the pulpit, this pastor fulfills her life's purpose.
The split is at the finish line.
But it's on the pavement where she's found another calling. Meet Angela Tate, Associate Pastor of Westside Missionary Baptist Church. You can add to that title, Accomplished Marathon Runner.
I started running 5Ks and did a couple of 10Ks and then did a half marathon and just fell in love with the run.
8 years ago, a fellow minister gave her a goal: run 50 marathons before she turns 50.
So I was 42 at the time, so I thought, no way.
The now 49-year-old will run in the Greater St. Louis Marathon Saturday. After traveling from city to city, this weekend's home run will fulfill the challenge she reluctantly accepted. It took discipline.
So I was doing 4 or 5, maybe 6 a year.
Then a detour, COVID-19, placing an unexpected timeout in her race against the clock.
So subsequently, I did 12 marathons in 2023 so that we could make the goal.
In addition to offering support, members of Tate's church have stepped up themselves.
So the church is doing a mile a day. So they're walking a mile a day to keep her motivated.
After all, that's what leaders do: set an example and prove what's possible, even when you barely believed it yourself.
At first, I didn't think it was possible, but then I said, let's go. To be able to do it in front of my family, my daughters, my husband, my grandgirl, right? And that they can see if we set a goal, we really want to do it, we can do it. So.
Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
I know she's going to do it too. Pastor Tate and her supporters will wear T-shirts Saturday that say "Believe" and Team 413. That is a reference to a Bible verse that she reminds her that she really can do all things.
She went to a chiropractor to get relief for a stiff neck.
As soon as I opened my eyes, my vision was completely crossed.
She left in an ambulance.
It was really scary.
Tonight, the I-Team looks into the safety of forceful neck adjustments.
Mistakes are being made. You need to slow down, take a better look at it.
And the calls to make the practice safer.
Spring storm season is really ramping up, heading toward the weekend for the middle part of the country. What that means for us as you make your weekend plans.